Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the official rebranding of our regular Dark Souls gameplay. Um, Decided that it was time to mix things up because everyone's played this game already or has done all that is needed to know about Dark Souls, and so needed to add a nice coat of paint to it. So what we're gonna do is do a bit of a podcasty style video while we play. Um, Dark Souls in the background and give something a bit more interesting to watch.
Yeah.
But how we're going to start this is I've come prepared with a couple of discussion topics for today's episode. Next time will be Jason, but at the same time, if there are things that come across that you'd like to hear us talk about, let us know in the comments and we will bring that stuff up in future episodes. So we would love to hear from you in regards to what we say or what we didn't say or what you want us to say.
Exactly.
So our two topics of today are going to be first just a little bit of like get to know us kind of thing and talk about what game you would like to see come into existence that you've always wanted that might not just be there yet. And then afterwards will be a bit of time on PlayStation personalization and the lack thereof. So without further ado, I'm going to travel to the Crucifixion Woods.
Good.
And Jason, why don't I let you cut the red tape and start us off on what is your dream game that you want here?
Well,
What do you want to play?
so I thought a lot about this because I realized that this year I've actually bought and spent a lot of time playing video games. And so there have been quite a few different genres that I've touched upon, but the one that I've been really itching to get back into is something sort of like a 3D action adventure hack and slash game. Something similar to like Bayonetta or Ninja Gaiden, Devil May Cry,
Because it's been a while.
something like that. Just because I haven't played something like that in quite a long time. Something that's fast and really eventful.
Would you like an existing IP to so those you mentioned, would you like a specific IP or like a world
Well, like
in your hack and
TBH,
slash?
I would love to have all three of those come back. Like a new entry in either or any of those three would be miraculous. I would be so happy. But a new or a different IP, I don't know. That's tough. Just because to think of an existing IP or a universe that would be able to deal with that fluidity, I'm not quite sure. But
It's hard to think of stuff because like we're not in the business of designing games or
no.
like coming up with like new characters or designs, that kind
Exactly.
of stuff.
Well, like even if you were to take something that might not necessarily be a gaming IP or a gaming franchise, so like cool, or as cool as it'd be to have like a Game of Thrones game, I don't think that would be very cool as like a 3D action adventure hack and slash game because it just doesn't really fit with the style.
Yeah, there's so much politics
Exactly.
and other stuff involved.
So like I
Um,
can't think of something that would suit really well with that, but yeah,
Somewhat forgot how to play this game.
it's okay.
Um, so okay, cool. It's funny because like I'm in a similar realm of something that I want in the hack and slash genre, but I want to hear a little bit more about if you have thought about it, just the kind of like what are the meat and bones of the game in terms of like how maybe it would operate, like what would you expect from combat, because sometimes hack and slash games, or at least like newer ones that have used IPs, say for example that Power Rangers game that came out that was just like kind of a beat 'em up
Yes.
game, had like no depth to it whatsoever. And I feel like I mean, I would imagine you would put in a good range of creativity
Yeah,
to
yeah.
your game. But what kind of stuff were you wanting to see? Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, I think
So,
the
well,
most
you seem
common
to be a
thread
real
between the
pro.
three games that I listed is not so much you're getting like new abilities and whatnot, but new weapons. And weapons play a big role in how you combine two or three of them. So with both
Mm-hmm.
Devil May Cry and Ninja Gaiden, it allows you to equip two different sets of weapons so that you can fluidly switch between the two. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that in order to increase like replayability and playability, you'd want to have a host of different weapons. I think that, you
Mm-hmm.
know, Bayonetta did it really well because they not only added weapons, but they creatively added newer weapons. So in Devil May Cry and Ninja Gaiden, you have pretty standard things like swords and whatnot. But in Bayonetta, they were adding cool things like whips. They even had ice skates, like really strange
Yeah.
things. And but they worked really well. And even with Bayonetta 2 on Nintendo, the Wii U, they even added Nintendo themed weapons that, as ridiculous as they
Mm-hmm.
were really unique and not anything like I've seen in the genre. So I think that in order,
Like getting a Mario Rabbids
yeah,
gun.
that would be interesting. I mean, they totally could. So I think that would be the thing that I would hope for a new hack slash action adventure is just like in depth, really creative, uh, kind of
Mm.
out of the box weapons. Um, you know, I can't think of anything specific just because I don't know.
Mm.
People are a lot more creative than I am, so I can see a lot of great uh, potential things to add to an arsenal, but
Yeah.
and then even some sort of like RPG elements with a skill tree might work. I just don't know if you don't want to give your character so much power where it's almost too easy and it
Mm.
becomes something like Dynasty Warriors where you just like are just killing a bunch of enemies that are significantly
I
weaker than
love
you.
that kind of stuff
Yeah,
sometimes.
sometimes it's nice, but like the thing that's so good about all three of those franchises that I said before is that they're hard games. Like even standard enemies can put up quite a challenge. So
Mm. Well, that was easy.
yeah, that was easy.
Hey, look, boss, done. Where are my souls? Oh, there we
Oh, there
go.
we go. It took a while.
Yeah, that's definitely a fair point because like I've experienced in a little bit of something like Dynasty Warriors where part of me really liked just like whipping guys around and that's just like feeling like a badass is fun, but at some point you want a bit of both worlds
I
where you want to like I don't know, it's hard for me to describe because I can't quite find that balance. Or at least I haven't played something that has mastered that.
Totally, and I think that there's a different sense of attachment to each of these games because with something like
Mm,
Dynasty Warriors, I think that you can play it and you feel overpowered and it feels fun, but I don't think it has that lasting
mm,
effect like something like the other games have because
mm,
they're challenging, so you want to conquer them and get past a part or something along those lines.
mm, definitely. That's pretty awesome. I feel like I mean, I've, I've, is there any more you want to add to that?
No,
You
it's
thinking
it's
of
good.
it?
I will say though, like
Okay.
an awesome like franchise to take that on would be actually Mortal Kombat. Now that I think about it, because they did have a game
Mm.
somewhat like that on the PlayStation 2 and Xbox 3 or Xbox 360. No, Xbox on the Xbox, um, and
Maybe.
it was really great. So I'd love to see them do that again.
Hmm. Well, I feel like yours is more likely to occur than mine if we
Oh,
had the choice, because I feel like those franchises are, at least in some shape or form, are going to get revisited in the near future.
hmm,
Capcom's been doing a decent job of bringing back stuff, just like Resident Evil 7,
yeah.
and adding a new twist to things. So, and it's been a while since we've seen at least Devil May Cry 2 or Ninja Gaiden. When was the last game for that? That was
Ninja
probably
Gaiden,
last
yeah, it
generation.
was Ninja Gaiden 3, and it was not very well received because it was a lot more cinematic
Mm.
than Ninja Gaiden 2, which was excellent. So,
Hmm.
But I could be wrong. I might be missing a game in that series.
Well, okay, I gotta remember what if there was something I was working towards in the last weapon, last game, but I don't think so. I'm just gonna quickly check here. Ah, let me see. I got anything? No. Oh, I should be able to level up a second time. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Okay, so I've been thinking about this for a little while now,
Mm-hmm.
and with Middle Earth having being in existence, I feel like my game idea will take a very long time to come to fruition because I very much enjoy the world of Middle Earth and Lord of the Rings. And so
Ha,
what
nerd.
yeah, I know. But what I've been thinking of is like kind of hack and slashy, uh, but a co-op based game,
Oh.
or you could play single player where you run through like the big epic battles of the Lord of the Rings series and potentially other like deeper parts of like the lore that just don't get are beyond the actual trilogy, um, or including The Hobbit as well.
Mm.
Um, but say like, oh, you and four friends are defending like I guess what you'd be like the big end battle would be Minas Tirith,
Uh-huh.
for example.
Okay.
And I just want to see like a game pull off like such a grand scale battle, but it'd be a mix between just like general hack and slash and a bit of strategy. And so you the like level up and progression system would be something like you start off as like a company commander and say the first expansion is just like the battles affecting the human race,
Mm-hmm.
and you are given a small company of units, and before the actual battle starts, you get a chance to like place them on a overscale map, so you actually get to design like and strategize how best to defend the oncoming armies.
Oh, cool.
And as you level up, you get control of more units. So say you start off as a small company commander, you get a group of 20 soldiers, and then you progress and you get 20 soldiers plus archers, and then like archers and catapults, and then all that kind of stuff. So as you rank up, you feel like you're in control of a larger army, and you get to place those on what would be a really cool map system, like a sort of, I guess, I don't know if you saw Horizon Zero Dawn's map, but it was on a flat plane, but you could see some of the 3D level like design pop
Oh,
up out
cool.
of the map.
I did not know that.
And so, yeah, it'd be really cool if you had like, oh, all the walls pop up and you had designated sections to where you could put units and stuff.
Mm.
Oh shit.
Oh
This
no.
is not the situation I want to be in. Uh, Now I understand how the guys from Dude Soup feel when
Yeah,
they're
I
trying to
know.
balance games and stuff. I really want to die for this. Um,
Oof. Oh my goodness.
oh my
Oh.
god. Not even.
Well, at least you had like no souls.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Um, and I guess part of the great thing about this idea is that you could have expansions and not DLCs, and so you release the game, feels like a full game. Maybe not full price title, but you have the different races, and then you move on to say the next expansion is like focuses on the dwarves, and then focuses on elves, and focuses on other
Mm.
things. And so you could customize your own character, and then you would also be in a party of like 3 or 4 people who also have their own units, and you sort of strategize and can pull off this grand epic scale battle similar to something like a series called Mountain Blade,
Mm.
where you like go around as in like a medieval, not fantasy, but like a fictional world,
Okay.
and you go around recruit your own soldiers, and you get to play in third or first person, but basically
Mm-hmm.
in third person, and you have some control over like, oh, these units follow me, you stay here, and archers stay back, and um,
Yeah.
uh, knights stay in front, kind of thing. And so you could like protect your archers, they fire in the background. Um,
Oh, damn.
so bad. And so there could be really great room for progression in
Mm-hmm.
terms of like customizing the way your character looks, and you could also develop your skills in terms of like, oh, I have more accuracy with my bow, or better stats with melee weapons, that kind of stuff. And at the same time, you could also have like control over the way your soldiers look. You could have your own banners and own colors and all that kind of stuff. So it's like a feeling of attachment to
Yeah, personalization and
your
whatnot.
yeah. And I feel like something like that would be really cool because like I would get attached to my units and I wouldn't want them to die. Or I don't know how you could do
Mm.
that. Maybe something in the realms of like XCOM where you have like name choices and stuff
Mm-hmm.
over your characters, and so if people die, you get really attached to them. But
Yeah, that's a really
I just want to
interesting
see
idea.
like yeah, and I want to like you want to. The scale would be so big, you'd be facing a lot of guys, and so I want to feel like a boss, like all the characters in Lord of the Rings, because they can kill so many. um, I'm not a stamina, that's what it is. Um,
What?
what? Through a tree. Um,
Oh my goodness.
oh my gosh, this is rough go.
Someone's riding
It's
the
been a little
struggle
while.
bus.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really interesting idea, though. I feel like
Uh,
that's not really out there. Uh,
Yeah, cause it's similar gameplay. Like, imagine a gameplay loop. I guess the closest thing I can think of is something like Fortnite,
mm,
where you're just like defending, or you could have certain scenarios where you're also
attacking, yeah.
attacking armies. But the big pitch to this game is that like, oh, you can get up to such a grand scale if something is like thousands of enemies on the battlefield, and you'd have to like work out like that's so
Hmm.
demanding for a system. But um,
Well, with the
imagine
yeah.
something like you could have enemies come in after a certain amount, die, and just find a way to make it look like it hasn't changed.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm just like envisioning like being able to have some like pretty solid options in terms of how you can control your units, like being able to develop shield walls if you're working with a group of spearmen,
Hmm.
or and then be able to have your archers stay put behind and like actually have like effect to how you strategize the game,
Yeah,
so that there's more than just like attacking enemies constantly and just like slashing and stuff.
yeah. It would it'd be a really good game for people who are looking for a hack and slash or something like that, but have more depth and
Mm,
strategy to it. Because those games can be fun,
yeah,
but like I said, they don't have that lasting appeal sometimes. And so if you were to give
yeah.
something for the player to get attached to, yeah, I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah, and I was thinking like, because some of the maps would be so big, and like, oh, okay, let's say we have you in a tower really far away, and you're getting absolutely
Hmm.
crushed. There's this mechanic I was thinking about that'd be really funny, um, and you have to call for reinforcements because we can't be on voice chat because we're so far away.
Oh, okay.
But there's like a designated, say, horn nearby, and if you have to like go to it to call, but like, oh yeah, I need reinforcements, and I hear the sound, and that means that if I'm in good shape, I can go run to you and provide backup.
Yeah.
But you would maybe not want like a cutscene between you running, or maybe it might be like if it's actually scaled, spending the time having to run really far away, that might kind of suck.
Hmm.
But what about like a a sort of action cam, and you get the epic music coming in the
Oh
background
my gosh.
as you like run to like help your friends, or to keep you in the game as you run to um, help someone, you can take control of one of their just like general controlled
Oh
enemies.
yeah.
So that way you're never out of the game, but you also take into perspective that you're not just like teleporting
Mm-hmm.
from one place to the next and being able to like help out in that situation.
That'd be hella cool.
Yeah, and I think the Lord of the Rings universe is so perfect.
Yeah. And I think
There's just like so little way that that could
mm-hmm.
happen.
And I think that with like, the processing power of the upcoming consoles, it's not completely far-fetched.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I don't think you would be able to like scale some of the large castle battles. Like I think
Yeah.
you could get to like Helm's Deep scale,
Well, maybe if they did something
because
similar to like Battlefront did, where it's like in sections, you have phases that open up more areas.
mhm,
I guess that would kind of eliminate
yeah.
some of the
Oh,
scale.
totally, totally. Like you would start initially with defending a gate,
Yeah.
and after like say you hold up the best you can and you're forced to retreat, then there might not be like a loading screen in
Mm-hmm.
between, but the the battle would be centralized around a certain
Mm-hmm.
area, which could be like really cool because then it felt like there's actual weight to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could probably have opportunity to stop people at different stages of the map,
Yeah.
but it's really hard to stop at the very beginning because you're being overrun.
Yeah. But that'd be cool because then it's like a testament to your skill and ability.
The one strategize with your group,
Oh my
but also,
gosh.
oh my,
Damn.
stop. Never use should use heavy attacks in
Yeah.
this game. It's just pointless. Um, yeah, and I don't know. Did you ever play the old Lord of the Rings games, like
No,
the
I remember
Two
them
Towers,
though.
Return of the King game?
Yeah, I never played
They were just like
them.
hack and slash. They were really fun, because they were just like fairly overpowered, but like super challenging in some ways. But they had like a combo system.
Okay.
So as you leveled up, you gained access to like new combos, and after you like kill more enemies, you get um, either okay, good, excellent, or
Oh,
perfect,
cool.
like a build up
Mm-hmm.
meter. And if you reach that certain meter, you get more experience points as you by the end of the map, and then or end of the level, and then you could use that to get new upgrades, new combos,
Hmm.
that kind of stuff,
Cool.
which was actually like pretty sweet. And so, even though you're button mashing like a light, heavy, and a parry
Mm-hmm.
attack, you could still add combos to do like cool moves. And so something like that could be well suited for a game like that I'm kind of talking
Mm-hmm.
about. Okay.
Oh. Yeah, no, that would I think that even with that universe it would work really well.
My hope is that the next there's a new Mountain Blade game coming out soonish. I imagine maybe next
Uh-huh.
year. That that like the graphics though looked super outdated, but like that was the best grand scale game for like battles that you could really get
Mm-hmm.
in that kind of medieval-esque setting. It was super fun because there's just so much you could do on that scale. But like the sieges and stuff were really kind of
Mm.
crappy. Like there would just already be a designated area for you to like raid, so there'd be like one part of the castle that had been crushed with a ladder already on it, or you'd be like slowly pushing a siege tower, one siege tower, and all your guys would just like run up it, and it'd be kind of a
Oh,
clusterfuck for
okay.
a little while. Um, but including like big siege weapons and destructible terrain,
Mm-hmm.
like all that kind of stuff, which is super cool. And that is what I want
That'd be cool.
real bad right
That'd be
now.
really cool. Just the problem with all like even any of our ideas too is that like games take so long to make now. So it's like
Mm.
if it's not already in the
Oh.
process.
Yeah, then it's like not gonna really come to fruition
Especially
anytime
like
soon.
something to oh my god, that move is just devastating. Um
Mm.
Something to that scale though that like what you want is that would be quite the process as well.
Yeah. Oh wow,
But
that
a
took
boy
us
can
a
dream.
little while. Yes, a boy can dream. I'll pitch it somewhere. Maybe someone will be like, "Yo, I want to see that too."
Yeah.
All right, so moving on. Next topic is inspired by Sony's new release of the COD World War II Special Edition PlayStation 4, which is ugly
Ugly.
to say the
That's a
least.
kind word
It
for
is
it.
it is very very ugly. It it just like reminds me of how boring most of PlayStation's personalization options are. And I started thinking about like at what point does this like affect retaining like player bases or something like that? Because to me, my PlayStation feels like a box that I play PlayStation games, but it doesn't feel always like my
Mm-hmm.
console because there isn't that much I can do to it. Like the themes are mostly pretty weak, plus half of them you can't preview before you actually purchase them.
Mm-hmm.
There's tons of themes out there, but like you don't know what you're gonna get sometimes, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
And most of them don't extend to very much. And I feel like I wish there was more you could do to like the user interface. I wish there were cooler controllers that
I know.
existed and not just like, hey, look, we're releasing the same colors, but they're clear plastic instead. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, wow, cool. I always wanted that, I think.
And like
um,
compare like comparatively, if you're to look at the Xbox One, where they have full
mhm,
customization of at least controllers, where they have a really nifty website where you can basically create any combination and customize a controller that reflects what you want. That's
mhm.
you know that's big.
And they look so
They
cool,
do.
and like I feel like that would add. Oh
Oh
shit!
wow.
Oh, go away, disengage, go away, go away, go away, go away, go away.
Oh.
Get away from here. Free it.
But yeah,
I just gotta take it real slow.
and like the quality of the controllers that they make are good too. Like
Hmm.
it's not.
Except for the battery life.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But everything about it, like I really like the look of these controllers. There's a huge step from this one from the PlayStation 3.
Yeah,
Because the PS2 to PS3, like the difference was wireless basically.
yeah,
Um, but even like people don't use the touchpad, it still looks kind of
yeah.
cool.
And same with the
And I don't
light.
mind it. Mhm. And I actually like the convenience of having the two different sides you can press
Yeah,
on the touchpad.
it's been really
Um,
useful.
yeah, even though you don't really use it for touchpad very often, like I kind of like that. Um, but I feel like I'm in the process. So I'm in the process of saving for a gaming PC. But what else keeps me coming back to console? And so Sony's done really well with getting good
Mm-hmm.
exclusives that I can only play here, which is great. And they have a good lineup for this upcoming year, and that's awesome. But if you take the exclusives out, what would keep me coming back? And I feel like just being able to have stuff that felt like this console was more my own would be something that would make it more interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would love to have a controller that like looked really awesome that I had option over, like the ones that were released in the UK that were
The Overwatch ones.
Overwatch themed. Those were so awesome.
So
I would
cool.
love to use that more often. Or imagine like you could customize the UI more. Like so, I was thinking about the uh, library button or
Mm-hmm.
the library option that you can go into. But what if that was a bookshelf, and as you purchased games, you had a digital copy of the hard
Mm-hmm.
case? And so, since I like to collect like cases, but at the same time, digital's so convenient. If you had the appeal of like, oh, I have this shelf digitally, and as you scroll through the games, the corners would pop out, and you'd still get the same menus, but it would just look as if you're adding to your game
Yeah, that'd be
collection.
awesome.
And so it'd feel like something that I was working
Mm-hmm.
towards. Something like that would be really cool. I would love that. I mean, that's like, oh shit, so in that part of the water. Um, Stuff like that, I think, would add a lot at this point.
Yeah.
And I want to pose this question to you: like, if Sony keeps its current roster of exclusive games, if you had the choice between taking um, one, like if they had the option of releasing a new edition, like a new exclusive, or instead they were like, oh hey, you can we've created a site just like Xbox One where you can create your own controller, and oh fuck, oh and you can have your own controllers and all that kind of stuff, and we've released like some new uh, cool like PlayStation 4 bundles, that kind of thing. Like, would you rather at this point have more personalization, or would you rather have just one more game? You don't know what it's going to be like.
Um, well, I mean, considering I also have, a vanilla PlayStation 4, so like 500 gigabyte,
Mm,
just your classic PS4, I think I would be more inclined to get something that's customized just because I am running out of space. I would like to have a PS4
mm,
Pro, something that can
mm.
handle games better. So I, I'm I'm at that stage where I would prefer something that also, is more customizable, reflects what I want and whatnot.
I got invaded. Yeah, it would just. I think it would just go so far at this point. Oh, this is like an actual
This is a real person.
person, I think. I'm dying near the bonfire
That's
when I
true.
do die.
And like, in terms of like ideas too, something that I think that would be really cool is, the trophies and achievements were added, and way back when PS3, Xbox 360 era, and people really cared about gamer score on Xbox 360, and I don't
Mm,
really know what value it has now, and I don't think trophies really had any value to begin with. Cool, it's cool to have platinums here and there, but what does it really mean? And I think
mm.
I think it'd be really cool if they introduced like a trophy case, so you can
Uh,
display the trophies that you have to your friends or not. Like I don't think that's a huge change, but I think it'd be.
yeah.
And then like maybe you can choose your top five that you put on display that people can see when they just like hover over your profile.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that'd be super cool.
Just because like what
I
point do they hold now with like
Yeah,
and they add.
I actually really like trophies too, and something like that would be um, awesome
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Just be something extra, and that kind of thing would like definitely entice me to like use my PlayStation more. I think at this point it's worth making that investment, even if it like benefits a small fraction of the community. Um, but like a small fraction of 60,000 or 60 million
Hmm.
units means like, oh, maybe you get two or 500,000 new people interested because you're like, oh, cool, I can do this with my controller, or keeps a couple 100,000 people from moving on from PS4 because it's like, oh, cool, I can do this now with my PlayStation. I like this.
Yeah,
This is my thing.
yeah.
Um, so I think it's time for Sony to actually do that. It would be really great.
Especially
I
since
want
they've
it.
had the upper hand in this console generation for a while. To like maybe do something that's
Yeah,
a little bit more
totally.
fan servicey where people will be even more excited to stay on your console because with the Xbox One X coming out too, it is
Hmm.
considerably not as powerful. So the PS.
Yeah, Totally. And it just, oh God, with every new release of like, hey, we got this new console and stuff, I just like roll my eyes. It's like, this is not that special at all.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing about this that's just like, oh, I want that. Usually just like, I don't want that. That's really ugly.
Yeah, and yeah, yeah. They even did the Destiny, Destiny 2 PS4 Pro bundle, but it's just a white
Mm,
console. Like, granted, it's cool,
mm.
but what does that have to do with like anything really?
Yeah, and just like a small logo edition. There's not much to it.
Mm-hmm.
But like say I actually really liked my the Xbox One S's Minecraft
Mm-hmm.
console. I thought that looked so cool. And the controller they had for it was also awesome. Like the very pixelated
Yeah.
uh, grass block. I thought just looked awesome. I would want something like that, even though, well, I actually did just buy Minecraft yesterday, but I don't dabble in it very often.
Uh-huh.
Um, it would just, yeah, I think stuff like this would just keep people interested or bring new people in, and at some point, I think that decision will be really valuable in the long run. Even if they don't do it, they'll be fine regardless. But if they do act and put a little bit more effort into it, I think it wouldn't be a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I would be on the boat to buy a new controller right away if I knew I could get something really cool. And there's third-party websites that do it. It just like gonna cost you 150
Yeah, it's really
bucks.
expensive.
So,
So,
hmm. Uh, yeah. Any last thoughts on PlayStation's lack of personalization?
uh, Sony, get your shit together.
Yeah, seriously. Also, can I change my name, please?
Yeah, for
Thank you.
real.
That would also be cool. I would almost take that over. I think change name, number one. Give me more customizable options. Number two, three, maybe another cool exclusive.
Yeah, for real.
But that's gonna wrap it up for this week's episode. I think in the near future we might look towards talking about some other news topics.
Mm-hmm.
And also I'll be sure to add the picture of what the COD World War II console looks like on the screen. So don't worry about that. I'll keep you guys informed.
Mm-hmm.
But if you agree or disagree with anything we've said, let us know in the comments, or if you have something you want to share, if there's a game you want to see, or even if something that Jason and I have talked about today that is already in existence and you want to bring to our attention, let us know, because I think we would both be pretty happy to check out something new if it's out there. And otherwise, if you have any topics that you want us to talk about in the near future, just let us know in the comments below, and we would be happy to address them in upcoming episodes.
Yeah.
And until then, we will see you next time
Yes.
on the ScrubsCast.
ScrubsCast.
Official name, ScrubsCast TM.
TM.
Don't know if anyone else has taken that already.
I'm sure, but yeah, whatever.
All right.
Bye.
Deuces.